How do I get start off? I don't know. Hi everyone out there. It's been a while since I last uploaded. Sorry about that. But so far since the last time I've recorded, I've been having a blast and also have been really stressed out. One thing, if anyone follows me on my socials, you'll have heard that I finished the first draft of my book. And it is here. This is the first draft of my book. It is 196 pages. And I started writing this thing NaNoWriMo of last year, so November of 2017, I started writing this thing, and I literally just finished this past Sunday in October. So like, this has been a long time coming because I got it printed off at Staples, and it was so crazy because when they handed me the box full of my loose leaf papers, it was just like they were giving me my child. But it was really, really cool. And like, I'm recording this like a few days after I've finished writing, and the reason why I'm not writing like right now, like I haven't written anything since I got it printed off Sunday. I kind of just looked at the first couple of pages of my manuscript and have just been like, Mom, Dad, everybody, I finished my first draft. And I thought, like, this is so amazing and this is so crazy, because I'll be honest with you, when I typed the last words, I wasn't happy with the ending. Meaning that, like, I wrapped it up, but, you know, I automatically knew that there were things that I had to, like, go back and fix. But I was happy enough with the ending to call it done and just be like, well, it can be fixed. And so when I typed the last thing, and I was like, I'm done. I'm done. It was really, like, surreal and crazy, but then it went from, like, disbelief to, like, a splitting headache, because I don't know if I'm the only one that goes through this. But if I'm in like really deep thought about something I'm writing, particularly this project, and I'm really trying to visualize the world, the characters, and everything they're doing, and decisions they're making and stuff like that, for some reason, I get a really bad headache when I step away from it. Like, when I'm in it, I'm not feeling anything, but then when I step away, it's like, oh god, my head. I don't know, is that an imagination headache? Not that I'm imagining the headache, but that my imagination is causing my headache because it's too strong. I don't know. To be clear about what the book is so far, it's supposed to be an Afrofuturistic novel, and it's going to be dealing in the realm of fantasy. And I've explained it on my website as well, because I have a section now called Ebony Escape Projects. And so that's where I'm going to like show you things of the past, things of the future, and WIPs, works in progress, and all that kind of stuff. And what this project is going to be is exploring what it means to be African American, but to feel estranged from African culture. But it's not like a history sit down, it is a fantasy novel. Like, as far as naming a few people who've inspired me, like Tomi Adeyemi's Children of Blood and Bone inspired me, just because it gave me a nice context for how to approach African history and mythology and folklore and all this kind of stuff through a fantasy novel. And another person that majorly inspired me was Sarah J. Maas, just because I really love A Court of Thorns and Roses and Throne of Glass, and how she has these totally different band of characters, but how they have these struggles that I found to be interesting, and I wanted to have something similar incorporated into my own book. But again, this is a first draft, and I can't really like talk about anything, you know, because it's my first draft. How I'm going to approach this is, for me, it's November 1st in the States, and this is the first day of NaNoWriMo. And how I'm thinking about editing this, I just decided, at first I thought like today I was going to be like going in and editing hard and everything and revising my manuscript. But I've been looking, because now that my first draft is done, it's like, yeah, I wrote this thing and here it is, but it's like, What do I do now? I mean, I know what to do. I've read articles way before I should have about like revising your manuscript when I was still writing my first draft, and people were saying, oh, you know, print it out, go through and look for grammar, or go through from plots and big ideas and stuff like that. Look at all those things, which I understand. But then it's like you still feel frozen because it's like, well, where do I start? Because every blogger and every writer is going to have different opinions on how you should revise and things like that. But I'm grateful because, like, and even though I wrote this, I want to be clear, I'm not an English major. Like, I'm a computing and the arts major at my school, and a studio arts major, and an arts management minor. So it doesn't matter if you're not an English major, or you're not an English professor, or you're not a writer by trade or whatever. If the day you start writing, you're a writer. And you just gotta keep writing until you get what you want. And for me, I got what I wanted, as in terms I've got my first draft, but in terms of getting a more refined draft, maybe 2 more, 3 more passes to make it official. But back to what I was trying to talk about, how I'm planning on using NaNoWriMo for me. When I went into NaNoWriMo last year, I was thinking like, oh, I'm going to finish this in 1 month, but I'm a student in university and I only got 6,000 words out, I think, in NaNoWriMo last year, like during the month of November, and so that didn't happen. But I kept writing and writing and writing up to this point, and now I'm done, like almost basically a year later. And so how I'm thinking of revising this is, there are some world building guides that I found in some courses that I took, like Tomi Adeyemi offers a writing course, and I took that, and if I didn't take that, I don't think I would have had the groundwork that I would need to how to write this book. Even though my first draft isn't perfect, her writing course has been really fundamental in like showing me how to approach a 3-act structure, how to bring all these big ideas into a plot, and how she breaks down other stories to get you to understand how to write your own. It has been really helpful. Like, if you're looking for a writing course, I would definitely recommend that one, because once you purchase the course, you have access to it and the resources that come along with it forever, and these great worksheets and stuff like that. Like, girls got it going on. It was a really great resource, and you know, I'm still gonna go back and use it because this is my first book idea that I'm getting down, but it's not my only book idea. But back to like how I'm planning on like fixing this, I'm planning on just going through some world building guides that I got and filling out all of those, because let me look really quick to see the name of the world building guide that I got, because I really like it. I have a folder of writing resources on my computer for like all the things that I get from bloggers that I purchase and stuff. Okay, it's over there. Because don't get me wrong, like the resources that Tomi Adeyemi has, they're like really, really great. But sometimes like you have to mix and match different people's resources to find what works for you. Not saying that one resource is bad or something like that, but as writers, even though we're all writers, we all think differently. We all might approach how we fill out our characters differently and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, but let me find it. This workbook is called the Ultimate World Building Workbook, and it's from Life of a Storyteller, and the person who made it is S.J. Ridley, and it has over 500 questions, which is a lot. But the reason why I'm taking the time to fill this out is because I want to get a deeper understanding of the world. And I tried filling this out before as I was writing this, but I felt like, okay, let me just write this. And now that I'm done, I want to just go back and get a sense of the world that I want to establish / wish I established. So that's what I'm going to be doing. And this workbook, even though it says like it's the world building workbook, you are going to be answering questions about the world that you're building, magic, species, cities and villages, characters, all of those kinds of things. And so like at first it sounds like it's just going to be answering, so what continent are you on, and what does the place look like, and what kind of jobs are there. But you're also going to have a section where there's like just characters, so you're just going to be talking about your band of characters in some way, so you can include your primary, secondary, tertiary, all of those characters in there. So you get a nice sense of the world that they're going to be in and an understanding of them. But my plan as far as like this week, which is my writing break, like it's Thursday, so it's kind of late, but I plan on taking this week off and maybe next week in terms of like writing. And my plan is to use that time to fill out this world building guide so I have a sense of my band of characters and everything, and so that I can establish the world that they're in and who they are, what they look like, and all of that kind of stuff. And then what I'm going to do is, once that is done, and once I've read some articles and decided, okay, this is how I want to revise my book, I will start officially revising, I guess, probably next week, depending on when I finish this world building guide, because I'm probably going to go hard on it this week and weekend. But yeah. But as far as like other things in terms of the book, I am also illustrating this. And if you're thinking about like what I mean by that, like the illustrated versions of the Harry Potter books that came out not too long ago, like I have the Prisoner of Azkaban right here, and I really love this. Just the notion, like, I mean, I love a regular chapter book like anybody else, like a regular novel, but I love the idea of this being illustrated, and I want to do something similar to this. Like, I don't have someone to be like, how exactly do I do a book and also illustrate it, but this is my model for it. Like, I want to format it in this size. I just like this size. And when you look inside, I really like the illustrations, from the things that are like these just beautiful pattern backgrounds to these really telling illustrations. I just love how it's formatted. So this is like my goal in terms of if I can format it truly the way that I want, while I'm also trying to self-publish it. And as far as like other things, like other projects, I've been having some trouble with my microcosm project just because the coding has been a little difficult. There was some assets and things that weren't functioning correctly in my project. So I was like, oh no, I can't finish this thing, but I can. What it is like I'm using Unity to code my project, and I'm coding it in C#. However, whenever I check to see updates for Unity, because I'm like, maybe it's acting wonky because it needs updates, it's like, no, it's fine. But so I decided to maybe just re-download Unity, and sure enough, there's like the 2018 version, and I'm working off like the 2017 version, and like once I re-downloaded it, it started acting way better. And so now I have that working better. And my problem has been I'm doing an animation, but it's not just that I can keyframe it. Since I'm computing, I have to prove that I have some ability to code. So I'm coding the animation, and I'm going to be coding particles and trying to get them to do different jobs and operate and do different things simultaneously and non-simultaneously. So I was like, what mechanic can I use to do that? But there's like this job systems mechanic that's in Unity. And so I've been trying to teach myself that and look at other people's code, trying to get an understanding of that. But that's what I'm doing right now as far as microcosm. For my drawing class, I am doing my independent study for that as well, alongside doing my illustrations for my book. So my illustrations for my book have actually been suffering a little bit, but that's just because I've been trying to find my way with the tools I want to use and all that kind of stuff. And I'll talk about that. But as far as like my independent study, I'm calling my series Nefelibata, and if you look up that word, it basically means someone who has their head in the clouds and doesn't bow down to like the rules of society and does their own thing. And so this series, I'm just going to be making images of people that I think fit that description. I've portrayed Chadwick Boseman as the Black Panther, but I mean, I don't show his face, just I'm showing that he's the Black Panther and Michael Jackson next together because I was just thinking Panther Kings because I remembered Michael Jackson's Panther dance and I thought that was really interesting. And then I have Cassie Ho from Blogilates, some of you may know her, just because she had a very different path ahead of her in life and it seemed so like unclear how she was going to get where she is today, but she did, so I thought she would fit the description of Nefertiti Bata. Oh, and the third person that I've drawn is Ava DuVernay, and these are very illustrative, and this is my first go-round at drawing these people specifically, so I'm going to see how this goes, and I might even redraw some, but for the sake of this being a project for this semester, and this semester is kind of wrapping up fast, I don't have time to like redo everyone or something like that. But as far as like a first timer, I feel pretty proud of what I've done so far. Yeah, I mean, that's everything that's been happening with my projects as far as like for my drawing class, independent study, for writing my book and illustrating it, and for my microcosm project. But I will update you guys and hopefully not take so long to upload the next video. But because my schedule is so hectic and I want to talk about these projects, but also these projects take a lot of time to get done, I can't guarantee exactly when I will be back, but I will try my best to be back soon. And so I hope you keep creating things and you keep escaping into your own little worlds and all that good stuff. But until the next video, I'll see ya. Bye.